Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn a very motivating, encouraging, stimulating lesson for standard 10, 2.5. Let's march. In this lesson, there are three parts. We have studied the part first. Today we are going to see part second. Part 2. We can do it means we are able to do it. It means we are eligible to do it. You may ask that, what can one person do? So one may ask a question that what can one person do? Means what is the ability of one person? What is a person able to do? I would recall means remember, a story of my childhood. A heavy fire had broken out in the forest. All the animals were running away, including him, the king of the forest. Suddenly, then he saw a tiny bird. Tiny means very small bird. Rushing towards the fire. Rush means to run fast. He asked the bird, the king of the forest, that is the lion, asked the bird, "What are you doing?" To the lion's surprise, the bird replied, "I am going to extinguish the fire." बर्ड ने ऐसे जवाब दिया कि मैं वो आग बुझाने जा रहा हूँ. The lion laughed and said, "How can you do it keeping just one drop of water in your beak?" The bird was adamant. Adamant means refusing to be persuaded or to change one's mood. And she said, "I am doing my bit." Means what the bird wanted to concentrate or focus, that I am doing my part. So if everybody is doing his or her part, definitely there will be success. 18 years ago, millions of individuals marched across the globe. March means to continue in something or making something progress. So before 18 years, millions of individuals, lakhs of people marched across the globe and demanded a new international law for the abolition of worst form of child labor. Abolition means the action and ending a practice. So writer said, before 18 years, lakhs of people across the globe demanded a new international law for the cancellation of worst form of child labor, and it has happened. We did it. Millions of individuals did it. Means finally millions of people were successful in it. Friends, the writer here says, addresses the audience by calling, "Friends, we live in an age of rapid globalization." Rapid means very fast. We are connected through high-speed internet. So this is called the world of competition. So with the help of internet, with the help of high-speed internet, we are connected. We exchange our goods and services in one single global market. So because of this, in a single global market, we exchange our goods and services. We take and give, or we give and take our goods and services in one single global market. Thousands of flights every day connect us from one corner to another corner of the globe. So with the help of science, there is much progress. So thousands of flights take place every day to connect us from one corner to another corner of the globe. But there is one serious disconnect, and there is a lack of compassion, and there is a lack of compassion. Lack means shortage. There is a shortage of compassion. Compassion means pity and concern for those suffering. So here the writer says we do not have that much sympathy for those who are suffering. Let us inculcate. Inculcate means develop by instructing. So writer says let us develop by instructing and transform these individuals' compassion into a global compassion. Let us globalize compassion. So the writer says let us globalize the compassion, means let the people of the world have pity for those who are suffering a lot. Mahatma Gandhi said, if we are to teach real peace in this world. In the next paragraph, the writer says, Mahatma Gandhi said that if we are to teach real peace in this world, we shall have to begin with the children. So if we are going to teach something to this world, we will have to, means it is compulsory for us to start to begin with the children. I humbly add, the writer says, I humbly means politely, modestly add, let us unite the world through the compassion for our children. So he says, let us unite the world, let us come together for the sympathy for our children. I ask, whose children are they? Who teach footballs yet never played with one? So writer says that there are many children who are working in various factories, companies. Like, he asks a question, whose children are they? Who teach footballs? But they have never played with one football. Whose children are they? Who harvest cocoa? Yet have never tasted chocolate. So cocoa is a food item which we use to prepare the cake, chocolate. So he says that there are children who harvest cocoa, who work hard to have the cocoa, but they have never tasted chocolate. Whose children are they? Who are dying of Ebola. Ebola is a name of a disease. The meaning of this is an infectious and frequently fatal disease marked by fever, as we have the corona now. The symptoms are like fever, cough. In the same way, This Ebola was also the name of a disease marked by fever. Whose children are they who are dying of Ebola? Whose children are they who are kidnapped and held hostage? So writer asks us a question that whose children are they who are held hostage and kidnapped? Note down the meaning of hostage, that is a person seized or held as security. So writer says these are the children, they are suffering. So we have to work hard for them. We have to save them. We have to free them from the slavery, from the child labor. They are all our children. So writer says they are also all our children. I remember an 8-year-old girl we rescued from intergenerational forced labor from stone quarries. Note down the meaning of quarries. A place from which stone or other material have been extracted. And intergenerational means involving several generations. So writer says, I well remember an 8-year-old girl whom we rescued, whom we freed from intergenerational forced labor, from stone quarries, when she was sitting in my car right after her rescue. So when the writer and his team rescued her, freed her, and she was sitting beside the writer in his car, at that time she asked a question to the writer. Why did you not come earlier? So what did the girl ask to the writer? Why didn't you come earlier? It means she wanted to say that she suffered a lot. So she asked, why didn't you come earlier to save me, to rescue me? Her angry question still shakes me and has the power to shake the whole world. So writer says, what question did she ask? That the angry question has the capacity to shake me, to move me from the calmness, from the silence. And the question has the capacity to shake the whole world. Her question is for all of us. That 8-year-old girl asked the question to all of us. What are we doing? What are we waiting for? So now writer is asking us that the meaning of her question is, what are we doing now? What are we waiting for? How many girls will be allowed to go without rescue? So he says, if we do not take action, if we do not make efforts to save these children, then how many children, how many girls will be allowed to go without rescue, without freedom? Children are questioning our inaction and watching our actions. So writer says, these children are asking us questions and they are watching our inactions, they are watching our actions and questioning our inaction. We need collective actions with a sense of urgency. So writer says that it is very necessary for us to take collective action with a sense of urgency, In emergency, we have to make efforts and to save such children. Every single minute matters. So writer says in this case, every single minute matters. The time is very important. It is very essential to take action now. Every single minute matters. Every single child matters. Every single childhood matters. So writer says everything is important. Everything matters. Therefore, I challenge the passivity. Note down the meaning of passivity. Passivity means no action taken. We must have studied about the passive voice. Passive, not doing anything. Therefore, I challenge the passivity and pessimism surrounding our children. So writer says, I challenge the passivity, no action taken, and the pessimism. Pessimism means we do not have the interest to do something. So such type of situation is there around us. I challenge this culture of silence. So writer says, if we do not take any action, there will be silence. No efforts will be made. Nobody is going to try to save them. So writer says, I challenge this culture of silence and this culture of passivity, this culture of neutrality. Note down the meaning of neutrality. Neutrality means not supporting or helping. In this way, we have done part 2. So students, in the first part and in the second part, this is the speech delivered by Kailash Satyarthi, who tried to encourage us, who made efforts to motivate us, to stimulate us for the betterment of the children of all over the world. So according to him, at present situation, we must do something to save the children, for the bright future of the children. So writer said that the children are ours. Whose children are they? Who teach the footballs but they have not played? Who worked hard to harvest cocoa but they have never tasted the chocolates? So such examples have been given by the writer to motivate us. So now we will continue. In the second part, there might be a question that what does Satyarthi challenge? So Satyarthi challenges the passivity and pessimism. And again he says that she challenged this culture of silence and the culture of passivity and the culture of neutrality. The next question might be, why does the 8-year-old girl's question shake Mr. Satyarthi? In the second part, the writer had mentioned one incident of 8-year-old girl, and what question did she ask? That the question was, why didn't you come earlier? So her angry question shakes Mr. Kailash Satyarthi and the whole world. So writer says her question has the capacity, the power to shiver us, to move us from our place. So he says that the question shook the writer. The question had the capacity to shake all of us. Now we will go to the next part. But before going to the next part, we will see the writer had mentioned here the examples through which the writer tried to encourage us to save the children, as it is said that the children are the pillars of the nation. And if we want to make our country developed, we have to concentrate, we have to focus on the bright future of the children. So for these efforts and for the performance of this Mr. Kailash Satyarthi, he had been awarded many awards. In the next part, that is part 3rd, writer says, I call upon all the governments. Means writer says that I would like to get the help of all the government facilities, intergovernmental agencies, businesses, faith leaders, workers, teachers, and NGOs. NGO means non-governmental organizations, and each one of us to put an end to all forms of violence against children. So writer says that he needs the help of all the facilities whichever are available, so that the writer can put an end to all forms of violence against the children, like slavery, where the children are treated as slaves, trafficking, where the children are sold and bought, child marriages. So that was the custom in our country also before many years. So according to the Indian Constitution, nowadays the criteria for the marriage for boys, the boy must be of 21 year old and the girl must be of 18-year old. Child labor, sexual abuse, and illiteracy, these things have no place in any civilized society. So writer says that in this paragraph mentioned that there are many types of injustices done with students or children, like slavery, trafficking, child marriages, child labor, sexual abuse, and even illiteracy is the must. Illiteracy means if the children are not admitted in the school, they will not be able to read and write, they will not be literate. So when they are not literated, it means they will not be educated, so they won't have the manners, their future will not be bright. So writer says that illiteracy, slavery, child trafficking, child marriages, child labor, sexual abuse, so all these are the injustices done with the children. Friends, we can do this. So writer says to us, addresses to us directly by saying, friends, we can do these. Means we are able to do these. Governments must make child-friendly policies. So writer said that the government must make child-friendly policies and invest in education and young people so that they can make their career, so that they can lead their life successfully, so that they will be the role model for the young children. Businesses must be more responsible, accountable, and open to innovative partnerships. Note down the meaning of innovative: having new advanced ideas or methods. So writer says that we have to innovate, we have to modify the policies. Intergovernmental agencies must work together to accelerate action. So writer said that intergovernmental agencies also must work to accelerate, to increase the speed. Global civil society must rise above the business as usual. So according to the writer, global civil society must rise, must come up above the business as usual. And fragmented agendas. Note down the meaning of fragmented: split up or disunified. Agendas means a plan of things to be done to solve a problem. Faith leaders and institutions and all of us must stand with our children. So writer says that all the institutions and parents, all of us must stand with our children. All of us must support our children. We must be bold. Bold means courageous. We must be ambitious. That we must have our ambitions. And we must have the will. We must keep our promises. So writer said we must make our target and we must make efforts, support, encourage the children to achieve their goal. Over 50 years, on the first day of my school. So writer is going to mention his own experience. It happened before 50 years when the writer was studying in a school. So at that time, what happened he is going to mention. Over 50 years ago, on the first day of my school, I met a cobbler boy. Cobbler, one who repairs or makes the footwear. And writer said that I met a cobbler boy, my age, sitting outside the gate of my school. So where was the child sitting? Gate of the writer, outside the gate of the writer's school. I asked my teachers, why is he working outside? So at that time the writer had so many questions about that cobbler boy. So writer asked the questions to the teachers. Why is he working outside? Why is he working outside? Why is he not with us in the school? My teachers had no answer. So when the writer asked that why is the cobbler boy working outside the school gate, Why the cobbler boy is not inside the school? At that time, his teachers didn't have any answer. They had no answer. One day, I gathered the courage to ask the boy's father. Therefore, when the writer didn't have any answer from the teachers, he collected the courage and asked the cobbler that. What was the question he asked? Sir, I have never asked the question to ask the father boy. He said, Sir, I have never thought about it. We are born to work. Means what? The cobbler was thinking that they do not have the right to admit their child in the school, and he himself thought that he is born to work. So his son is also born to work only. His answer made me angry. It still makes me angry. So writer says whatever answer given by the cobbler made the writer angry. Even that answer makes the writer angry nowadays also. As a child, I had a vision of tomorrow. So he said at that time, I had the time of vision of tomorrow. A vision of that cobbler boy sitting with me in my classroom. Now, that tomorrow has become today. So what writer said that at that time the writer had the vision to educate the cobbler boy. So that tomorrow has become today. So this is the time. This is the present where the writer wished to work for such children. I am today and you are today. Today, it is time for every child to have a right to life. So writer says that this is the right time. That every child has the right to life, right to freedom, right to health, right to education, right to safety, right to dignity, self-respect, right to equality, that every person or individual is equal before the law according to Indian Constitution, and right to peace. So writer says that this is the right of every child and they must be aware about their rights, that what are their rights and what they are doing. So when the children will come to know about their rights, they will try or make efforts to achieve their target. Today, beyond the darkness, I see the smiling faces of our children in the blinking stars. So writer says, nowadays, today, though there are many problems, but I have seen the smiling faces of our children in the blinking stars. Means the children who made progress, and they are shining like stars today in every wave of every ocean. I see my children are playing and dancing today in every plant, in every tree and mountain. I see our children growing freely with dignity. So writer says, today I see that the children are leading their life successfully. They are leading their life freely with dignity. So why this happened? because they have been educated, they have been provided the education, so they became aware about their rights and they came to know that this is the real life. So in earlier days, in ancient times, they were leading the life of helpless, poor. Today I want you to see and feel this today inside you, my dear sisters and brothers. So again, in the next paragraph, writer addresses directly to the audience by saying, my dear sisters and brothers, as I said, many interesting things are happening today. So what the writer says, many interesting things are happening today. May I please request you to put your hand close to your heart. And then the writer says that I would like to request you to put your hand right close to your heart, close your eyes and feel the child inside you. And writer says, now feel the child inside you. I am sure you can. And writer says, I have the certainty that you are able to. Now listen to that child. Listen, please. Today I see thousands of Mahatma Gandhis, Nelson Mandelas and Martin Luther Kings calling on us. So writer says that see, when you listen the child, you will come to know that there are many great people hidden inside them, like Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela and Martin Luther King. They are calling on us. Let us democratize knowledge. Note down the meaning of democratize. It means make democratic. So writer says, let us present the knowledge in a dramatic way. Let us universalize justice. Let us spread justice. Together, let us globalize compassion. So let the people of the world have sympathy, pity for such helpless children. I call upon you in this room. So writer says, I call upon you in this room and all across the world. I call for a march from exploitation. Now note down the meaning of exploitation. It means take undue advantage of, to education. So writer says, I call a march. I call for a march from exploitation to education, that we should not take undue advantage, improper, unsuitable advantage, benefit of illiteracy of the children. We should provide them education. I call for a march from poverty to shared prosperity, that we have to convert the children from poverty to prosperity. We have to encourage them. I call for a march from slavery to liberty, that we have to make them free, and a march from violence to peace. Let us march from ignorance to awakening, that the children are ignorant, they are uneducated, they are unaware about their rights, so make them aware. Let us march from darkness to light. Now they are in darkness, so we have to bring them into the light. Let us march from the mortality to divinity. So writer says, let us do something to bring the children from mortality to divinity. Let them lead a better kind of life. So writer says, let's march. So in this way, we have seen what Mr. Kailash Satyarthi addressed us while receiving the award Nobel Peace Prize At that time, he delivered the speech to the audience and made a call for a march. Thank you.